Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to RC Lawn Chair Pilots podcast.
Whatever this is.
Yeah.
Roll it. All right, guys, welcome back.
How's it going, guys? It feels like it's been forever, but it really hasn't.
It's just been forever since we recorded because life got busy.
Well, and we did two quickly back to back.
Kind of, yeah.
And then this one is not.
Well, and the last one took so much to edit. My word.
I thought it was great, though.
I'm sure it. I appreciate how it turned out. I do not appreciate the 7 hours of editing.
Now you know what I feel like.
Yeah, I prefer the 2 or 3 that I get out of our regular boring, just staring at, and occasionally pictures popping up. I know it's less pleasing to the eyes, but it's easier on my sanity.
Yeah, well, I mean, I thought it was a great video. I would like to do it again. So let us know if you guys liked it.
We will do it again at some point. It's just not going to be a regular thing because, my word.
Yeah. All right. So
news.
What do we have
news?
News-wise? Do you want to do that later?
Do what? No, we're fine.
Okay.
So RCBattery.com, they're still sponsoring us. They still love us. They're still awesome. We still love them.
Yes.
But they just recently held a contest on RCGroups.com.
Oh, yeah.
Where if you submitted a review on their website and posted a link to it on the forum post, then you would be entered to win one of 2 $150 prize packs.
Sweet.
Now, me being the overzealous person that I sometimes can be, I posted a review, and I posted the link, and completely forgot to mention that my Savage X89 user is me, Derek, of RC Lawn Chair Pilots podcast.
Yes. So
and
guess who won?
I won. So I sent a message to Richard on RC Groups and said, "Hey,
by the way,
this is Derek." He's like, "Oh, shoot." I'm like, "Yeah, go ahead and redraw." So he redrew. Congratulations to the 2 winners. I forget their names. I don't have it up. But they each won a $150 prize pack.
That is pretty awesome.
Based on the message he sent me when he thought it wasn't me.
Yeah.
It was, they want to be able to give you batteries you'll use. So he said, pick out a couple, send us a list, and they'd do their best to fulfill. And if they were out of stock, they'd fulfill at a later date and stuff.
Like $150 from them, that's a lot of batteries.
Like that, if it's either a lot of batteries or a couple massive batteries.
Yeah, big ones. Big batteries.
Like,
I'm excited to talk about some things later about batteries. It's not really news, so it's not falls into this section.
Yeah.
I don't really have any news. I've got some build stuff, and I've been doing some stuff with the batteries. I haven't been out to fly, but today was a gorgeous day.
It was a good day.
Almost went out and flew, but at the park, they were getting the ball field ready, and so I was like, I don't want to run into people. Because I would.
So one more, yeah, you would. One more thing from RCBattery.com. Right now they're having a promo going where if you spend $25, you get a free lipo checker. Those little buzzer light things. You get a free one of those with an order of $25 or more.
Sweet.
And again, all their batteries are awesome.
I do
Great
need
prices.
to buy some more batteries. Even though we just got some, there's actually some on my list that I still want.
Yeah.
And so I need to place an order. I don't need a battery checker, but I need to place an order.
Yeah, we already got you the battery checker.
Yeah, and 2 battery chargers. 2 battery chargers.
Yeah.
I am super stoked. I got to talk about those too. I will talk about those. So,
but I think that's it for news. I don't have anything else.
No, I don't have anything either.
All right.
How about,
we don't have notes, so
today
we're
winging it. It's called Unprepared. Both of us. We have stuff to talk about. We just didn't prepare as well.
We just didn't write it down,
do.
so this may feel scatterbrained at moments.
Yeah. So what's next? Normally outings, products. I have
products
no new products. Like we talked about the battery chargers, and I've been using those, and the batteries that we got from RCbatteries.com, and so those are the things. My flight test. A tiny trainer, but really I don't have anything new, and I've talked about all that already. Those are about the only products. Oh, and I am super crazy excited about what I can do with my Archer series receivers.
Yeah.
They're super, super cool, and I'm only scratching the surface of what's possible with them.
Yeah, they're quite capable.
They're super sick. I have the GR6 and the
R6.
R6. Yes. So.
Well, I'll go on about a product really quick.
Yeah. What do you got?
I've been spending these past couple of days working on my Willy Nilly's Gentlelady. It's a balsa kit, as you know. And
talked about it once or twice.
Exactly. It's so much fun. But one of the main glues you use with balsa kits is cyanoacrylate, CA glue.
Okay. That's a liquid glue. Right?
It's a liquid glue. It's basically super glue,
Mm-hmm.
and you can get it in different viscosities. But when you're using the thin glue that wicks really well into all the joints,
yeah.
If you don't it can be hard to get the tip of the glue bottle in there.
Okay.
Into the little cracks.
So you found something.
Well, it's not that I found it. It's just this is what's available to help with that situation. But they're these little glue tips.
It looks
it
like
may be
a
super hard to see.
Straw stretched to a point.
Yeah. So it looks like a little pipette straw. It slips over the tip of your glue cap, or your glue bottle, excuse me, and then it feeds down into this really, really tiny, like 0.005 of an inch inner diameter tube.
So that's first the thin stuff.
Yeah. So you take this, you wedge it over to the top of your thing, and then it wicks right out.
It looks like a really nice little tool.
It makes it super nice to.
It's flexible too.
Yeah, it's super flexible.
So like I can see some huge benefits. So a package of what's that like?
I bought
50?
a pack of 150.
150
on Amazon for I forget how much. But Willy Nilly sells these in packs of 5. So when you buy a kit, you can buy a pack of 5. I think for $1 or $2. So a little bit more than I bought these for because I bought it in bulk.
If you want, we can put a link in the description.
Yeah, I'll put a
you're
link
interested
into
in that.
where you can get some of these.
Yeah, it'll probably be affiliate links. So just to
I don't
let
know
you
if
know.
my Amazon affiliate account is still active.
It might be. It might not be. Just let you know for some of you who get offended by clicking on links like that.
But these bottle tips are awesome. They work great.
They look pretty cool.
They make for a cleaner gluing job because then you're not just dumping glue and gluing your fingers to everything.
And the thin, like the other ones, the thicker stuff, it's not as big of a deal. But I've noticed with the thin, it's like you touch it and it's like half the bottle is trying to escape. Yeah. And it's crazy.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like crazy glue.
It is. That's
super glue.
Yeah. Essentially what it is. So that's awesome. Yeah, that's cool.
So those are super sweet. I have found those super useful as I've been working on my Gentlelady. Absolutely love it. So
sweet. Yeah, looks nice. I see the functionality of that, and for 150 of them, I bet you didn't pay much for those.
No, I don't think I did. You go ahead and you were going to say something on the next bit, so I'll go ahead and look that up while you. I
was.
I don't know. You were going on about outings and stuff.
Well, it's just that I wanted to go out on an outing. I didn't actually go, and I didn't have any new products. So since the next section is outings, none of us had any outings, right? Did you go out on anything? Did you take the trucks out or anything?
Just inside.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Which is more than I didn't do any.
Nothing
driving.
Like super exciting inside. Oh, they were $11 for 150.
Oh yeah, that's dirt cheap.
Yeah. So that's I'm not going to do the math right now because
it's like
it's
what,
a few cents.
75
each.
cents a piece or something like that.
No, less than 10 cents a piece.
Oh yeah, you're right. It's like 7 cents a piece.
Yeah, something like that.
Math
so
is hard.
those are super awesome. I'll put a link in the description, so if you want to get yourself some.
Yeah.
They did ship from China, or they may have shipped from China. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't really matter. But like he said, you can get them from.
You can get them from willynillys.com. They sell them in packs of 5 for a couple bucks, and honestly, worth it. Supporting a local business.
And if you're already going to buy something from them, you might as well just throw them in. Like you
tack them on.
Just tack them on because then you'll get them with your project. You'll have them for your project. You probably can only use it a couple times before it goes bad.
It depends on how good you are about clearing it after you use it.
Okay.
Which is kind of tricky. But I have found you can do 2 or 3 gluing sessions per tip.
Okay. Yeah.
If you're doing a Willy Nilly's build in one night, so like if you're experienced and know what you're doing and you can do it in a 4-hour session, you can use 1 tip for the whole session.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So at most 2. So you're going to accumulate a stockpile if you keep buying with some. So Well worth having.
Or you can just buy 150 at a time and have it for a while.
I won't run out of those for many years to come.
Depending on how many projects you build.
Exactly.
Or how many repairs you have to do.
Yeah.
Just saying, that's a possibility. Speaking of builds, which I think is a great segue to So I'm staring at your 4 wing pieces.
Yeah.
They look amazing. For you on the podcast, I always apologize because you can't see these.
I'll post pictures in Instagram. But I have been working on the Gentlelady Wings.
They are gorgeous. Like, I'm a big fan of the naked balsa. Like, I like the way it looks. I'm not a builder.
But that framework looks so nice.
It is. It looks really nice.
These went together so smoothly. So they're all tabbed and slotted to easily fit together. You can see I've got the center brace. These are the 2 center panels. I'll go ahead and pull that out. But this is the brace that holds the dihedral between the 2 center sections. Mm-hmm. When this is all done, it'll be glued into one piece. It'll sit at that angle. So there's your center dihedral, only a couple degrees.
Okay.
But looks really nice.
So these 2 will be one piece?
Yes.
And then will those 2 also be part of the same piece?
Yeah. When all is said and done, these 4 will be one.
Oh, okay. Okay. So what is that? Close to 48-ish?
Yeah, it's about 40-something inches, almost 48.
Yeah.
So these were super nice. What I did is I took a piece of foam board, scored it down the center lengthwise, and folded it in half so I had about a 3/8 of an inch thick building surface.
Okay.
As you can see here, Stephen.
Yeah, I can see here.
You can see. But I folded over and then taped it down to the board that we were working on the last episode.
Yeah.
And that made me a nice, smooth, flat surface that I could then pin into. Using T-pins, I didn't pin through the balsa of the wings, but I pinned on either side
to hold it down, like you do when you're pinning. Because you don't, like, if you're doing insect collecting or something, you don't pin the insect directly. Usually, you set the pins and the insect sits on the pins, depending on the style of insect.
Yeah.
But that's what you did. You pinned those down.
Yeah. So
that's awesome.
So I took for the center section, I took the leading edge and I put pins on the front. And once I knew that was all level, I put pins on the back side of the leading edge to really lock it in place. And then I got all the ribs set, put on my lower spar, and then put on the trailing edge. And then once I knew all that was in the right position and square, I put pins up against the back of the trailing edge to make sure it was pushing into the leading edge. And then I ran all my glue.
Nice. And then you tapped everything with the glue. All
yep.
right.
And I did that with all 4 sections. Went really well. So those were the 2 center spars, and these are center section. These are the 2 wing tips. And these will be at a much sharper angle.
Do you have that already set? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So the ribs... The joining ribs between the sections are set at a specified angle.
Yep.
So there you can see that in the video. It's considerably more. This is more like from the center section. It's like 15 to 20 degrees. It's pretty sharp, but it makes for a super stable flight. Yeah. The kit comes with 2 pieces that have the proper angles cut into them, so you can press it up against the rib that needs to be angled over, and you can get it just right.
Nice.
Yeah, it makes it super easy.
Super, super nice. Well, that's actually, and like I said, that's gorgeous looking for you that can't see it. Oh, okay.
This is the piece that
it's gonna adds be hard the angle.
To see. It's going to be super hard to see. I'll zoom in for it. Hold on. Here it is up against my shirt. That'll be easy to zoom in on.
There we go.
But you can see the angle on one side. That tells me
that was the
I
tip
can use
angle?
that. Yeah, this is the tip angle. That I can push that up against it and set the tip angle really easily. So all I have left to do at this point is I need to cut out. Let me just drop stuff.
Preferably not. I would be sad for you.
Yeah.
Especially if it cracked or broke.
So I'm going to show you, Stephen, first. But as you can see, the center rib, there's that window. That's where the spar goes.
Okay.
Here's in the video. There's that little window cut.
Yeah, you might have to zoom on that one too.
Yep.
But
to where the spar goes to hold it and support the angle. But the spar is much bigger than that window is.
Okay.
Because if they were cut it to the right size, it wouldn't be able to hold itself together prior to gluing. Because if you look at this one that I've already cut, I cut all the way to that top and bottom spar.
Oh, and that's supposed to be that way.
Yes. So there again
after
in the
gluing,
video.
then you cut the spar.
After
and,
gluing,
and
then you
you'll
cut
glue,
the space.
You'll glue the support beam too.
Yep. Then the support beam, it slides in beautifully. And I will glue down either with medium CA or with epoxy.
Okay.
Because I want them to be nice and sturdy.
A little bit stronger.
Yes. Hold really well.
And then will you go through and do any more strengthening, or that's what the wrap will be for, is to help strengthen anything else on the wings?
Well, so the next step on the wings is there's sheeting that goes over these first two bays in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
That'll go on the bottom, and then there will be sheeting that goes over the top.
Okay.
That'll add some rigidity to where the rubber bands go.
Yeah.
And then in front, there's going to be what's called shear webbing, so that you got your top and your bottom spar along at the cord of the wing.
Yeah.
And there's a little piece of sheeting that goes
across
that window, and that adds a lot of rigidity.
Okay, cool.
So
nice.
Those pieces still need to go in as well.
So you still, I mean, you've done a ton, but you still have
there's
ton to do.
There's still a ton of finishing work, but I've made good progress. And then there's also you can see the sheet. There's this stick full of these little triangle pieces. Those go into several of the corners to help support it as well.
Okay, give it more support.
Yeah.
Nice.
So there's still a lot of pieces that need to be glued in. I'm about halfway done with the wooden part of the wings.
Wow. And then you still have to run your tubing for your control rods and stuff like that, right?
These wings don't have any controls.
Oh, no controls on those.
Because this is a polyhedral wing.
So no controls on them.
Nope. I just have rudder and elevator on this airplane.
Nice, though. All right.
So, but there's that. And then a week ago, at the time of this recording, a little over a week ago, willy-nilly's finally released their power pod that can sit on top of the wing.
Oh, I saw. Did you post it?
I did.
I saw it. I liked it.
Yeah.
Wherever that was at.
They've been working on that for months.
Looks pretty nice.
Yeah.
And it looked nice on the plane that they
I think
posted that on.
I think I mentioned it in one of our last episodes.
Yes.
That it would be $10 or so. I think it ended up being $15.
It's not too bad though.
No. Well, it's a vacuum formed plastic shell that goes on, and then the motor sits inside the ESC, runs down through the arm of it, and then it'll fit a 5-inch prop max, and then you just run the wires into your battery and your receiver.
Nice.
So yeah, that will be here on Tuesday. So the day after this releases.
Oh, so that's going to go on. What are you going to
that'll only go on
the second wing?
No, it's going to go on this one because it's removable.
Oh, it's not permanent.
No, it just gets strapped on with the rubber bands that hold the wing in place.
Okay.
So I can choose whether or not I want to use it.
Alrighty.
And I also ordered the power pack that it can be used for it. So it's a 1306 brushless motor, a 6-amp ESC, and it comes with a 352S battery. So I'll end up having 5 batteries for this plane when that gets here. And then it also comes with a couple propellers.
All right, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, you've done a lot more building than I have.
I've only done this in like the last 3 days.
Yeah, I mean, so off and on I worked on a little bit of the tiny trainer. Like I said, we might show more of that, we might not. I worked on it a little bit. What I did was I pulled out the power pack and was messing around with that, learning about how that all, and I mounted the motor to the power pod.
Oh, very cool.
Something I did learn is they must have changed their motors that they were using at some point, because the pre-drilled holes did not match the existing holes.
Really?
Yeah. So I had to drill some holes as I started putting it in. I'm like, oh, this isn't lining up, and then took it. I put that motor on like 8 times.
Yeah, they don't always line up,
but it does now.
You do have one thing to remember that may or may not have been the cause. But so there's the 4 holes that hold the motor on. If you're looking at the 2 that are, whatever orientation, 2 horizontal maybe wider apart or
Yes.
closer together than the vertical ones.
Yes.
And
This
don't.
Well, this one I put all 4 in, but and it's because I didn't. The way it was mounted, if I only had 2, it was crooked. The prop
interesting.
sat in crooked because of the hole. Which, if I build another one, which I'm thinking I might,
Another power pod?
another tiny trainer.
Oh, okay.
We'll see how much I like this one, but this one is basically 3 in 1.
Yeah.
But if I do build another one, what I will do is I will actually rotate the cap for the power pod
Okay.
180 degrees and put that hole on the top instead of on the bottom. It
Oh,
makes
the
'cause they
firewall?
the firewall, because they have 2 notches. They have a hole and a notch.
Uh-huh.
And with the way this one is set up, I should have flipped it. But we should have pulled out the motor to see how it looked when we were doing it. That was
would
just
have been good.
just a noob mistake.
Yeah.
But it's not a mistake. I fixed it, and
Yeah.
it will be fine.
Oh, yeah.
But it was just something that I had learned when I was playing around with it. So I
There you
actually
go.
had to modify that hole just a tiny bit so I could get it to sit flusher. And then I put all 4 screws in so I could pull it tight.
All right.
Because otherwise, it would always be pulling a direction.
Yeah.
Because it would be
Because the motor wasn't sitting flat on the
it
firewall.
was slightly up and to the right, and so the firewalls is at an angle to give you for the rotation, but it would have been too much of an angle,
Yeah.
and so it would have been flying
It
up
would have
and
been
in a circle.
counterintuitive. Yeah. Interesting. All right.
And so that's what I had to do on that. But the other thing that I've been doing is, because we've had some people in comments and stuff on different things with our batteries, is kind of like, hey, are we going to test them? I have been testing them. These things are pretty impressive. Now, the biggest draw that I can pull on it right now with the setup I have is only 1.5 amps, which is not really a big draw, but
Yeah, it's super tiny.
but for almost every single motor I have, that's more than what that motor is pulling.
Are you sure?
Yeah, on a single draw. Because they're all very, like, these motors are all very small. Even I could measure it, but even the other flight test, the Radeon, the Night Radeon, it's not pulling very much. Like, it just doesn't. The motors are pretty efficient, so they don't have to pull as much.
Huh.
But it is only 1.5 amps, which is not very much. But I have been draining them down, if I forget, till it alarms, which is at 5%, it will stop, which is really as low as you would want to go if you're just out. But, like, the one battery, the 2200 at 1.5 amps, it ran for 3.5 hours.
Holy cow.
And then I charged it, and I did a quick charge. Now, one thing I did learn on the portable charger, if you have
the ISDT Q8.
Yes, if you have that, and do not leave a battery plugged in without power on it.
Okay.
It drained one of the cells. I thought I had ruined my battery.
Oh, shoot.
Because one of the 3 cells was drained to the point where it didn't recognize, like, I got errors when I plugged it in. So I had to tell it charge until it aired, and so it would charge for a few seconds, and then it would air out. And then I would unplug it, reset it, plug it in, say charge.
So you're just sitting there pumping a couple volts at a time until it registered.
Until it got high enough on that one cell that it would register. Then I charged it, and it because 2 of the 3 cells were fully charged and that third one was dead, it would trickle charge. So once it got to a acceptable voltage, which is over 3.8 volts, I then did a drain.
Yeah.
So all of them would be drained down.
There you go.
And then I charged it again. And it's fine. It's fine. It's working great. Like, it's great now.
Fine.
I've been... And
It's
that's
not going to blow up.
That's the one that I ran and did a full draw. Well, 1.5 amps with and it went 3.5 hours. So after I almost destroyed it,
yeah,
it is recovered. Now,
I'm surprised you were able to save it.
Well, I was worried. I was like, oh my gosh, what did I do? So just like that's good advice anyway. I should not have left it plugged in. I didn't even think about it because I was actually using the 5000 3S as my portable charger because I was testing it.
Oh,
so I had it plugged in, and I was doing draws and charges.
So the 5000 3S was powering the Q8 to charge stuff.
Charge and discharge. I was doing, and it finally died. I was like, oh, I gotta charge this. So I unplugged it, and I plugged it into the other one.
And forgot to
and didn't unplug
the
other little battery that I was testing.
Epic
so that
fail.
was a really good test, actually. I'm sure that I've shortened the life of that battery.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know how low it actually got because it didn't start telling me until it got to 1.2 volts.
Holy cow.
So just like while I was, and then I feel like that's a good test. Like, when are you going to discharge one cell?
To 1.2. When are you going to discharge any cell to 1.2?
You're never, because the system stops at 3.74.
Yeah.
That's the safety, is like, that's 0.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was in there for a whole day.
Mark that battery. See what happens. Just keep an eye on
it. So, but like I said, super impressed with the performance of these. I did a full charge and a full discharge on the 5000. Man, that thing all day long. And it's annoying because it's in my office, and all I hear is this fan. I mean, after a while, I was like, so that one went, when did I stop it? I finally got tired of listening while I was draining that one. I don't think I let it go to 0 or to, to drained, because it just was going. It just was not stopping.
Huh.
But again, 1.5 amps is not a lot of draw.
No.
These things can handle the 5000, I think.
It's a 75C, or was it a 35C?
I want to say it's the Liperior one. It's the black one, so I think it's a 75C.
Grab that box over there. I still have the box. We can look at the label. Down here.
I'm going to cover our faces. That one is 5000, 75C.
75C, so 75 times... I forget the math, but it's
like a burst of like 12 or 15 amps.
No, it'll handle more than that.
Is it higher than that?
Yeah, so much more.
So, but that, I mean, you don't want to constantly do that, but it is on a 90. What is it? PX90? Is it what? No, what is it?
XT90.
XT90. Thank you. It is on a XT90. Now, when I was testing it, I built my conversion to XT60 because all of my chargers are XT60s, so I had to build some adapters.
Yeah, so
which is not a big deal for charging and discharging because it doesn't. I'm like the charging part. I can do 5 amps on the new charger, and I can do 2 at the same time. The thing that I do have some qualms that I don't like about the new charger.
Okay.
One of them is it doesn't tell me what the percentage is of the battery.
Oh, really?
Now, I can do 2 batteries at once, so I use it just for charging, and I use my little one, my portable one.
As inspecting and stuff?
Yeah, for inspecting it, because it will tell, like, I can see what the voltage is, what the overall voltage is, and what the voltage of each cell. They both do that, but the little one, the portable one, it actually will tell me what it perceives as the percentage of that battery, which I like.
Yeah.
Where the two charger will not do that, but the 2 charger, because it's already default, I can do 5 amps without any issues. What they consider quick charging.
Okay.
So, and the quick charge is quick. It's pretty.
Oh yeah. Yeah, if you can max out your charge rate at 2 or 3C, then yeah, you're cooking along.
It's awesome.
Let's see here. Oop, nope, I don't want that pop up.
We just got a visitor.
So Sparky is back, the shop dog. Okay, so as an example, according to rotordronepro.com, go on, Sparky. A 2,000 milliamp pack will safely deliver 20 amps continuously. 10 times 2,000 milliamp equals 20 amps. A 20C pack of the same capacity will allow you to draw 40 amps from it continuously. So a 75C 5,000, you're talking almost 100 amps.
Of continuous draw. I don't
draw.
have anything that will do that.
So yeah, so you're testing at 1.5 amps?
I don't have anything that will do that.
No, yeah. No, your only way to do it would be to rig up a test stand to hold a plane in place or hold a motor.
And get a big motor. And
yeah.
get a bigger, because none of the motors I have will pull that much.
No.
Like I said, the biggest one I have was in the not the Gentlelady, is in the
Radian.
Radian. It's the biggest motor.
Well, and
it's even small.
Its ESC is probably a 20 or 30 amp ESC. So it will like the ESC will not let you. It'll burn out before you get close to the battery. What the battery can pull.
I'm gonna have to see if I can find something to. I have some old motors that I can set up. I'm gonna rig up something so I can do some more testing. But like for most of the gliders that I have and the planes that I have, 1.5 amps is plenty of pull because your servos do.
Servos do nothing. The motor is going to be where the amp draw comes from.
It's your motor, and I don't have any power. Like
the motor that I have on my Simple Cub.
Yeah, that guy.
That has a 20 or 30 amp ESC, and I maybe pull 12.
Now, like
for my
drone,
quad,
yeah, your quad
that has a 30.
4 of them.
That has that's got a 30 amp ESC board.
So you're still not going to pull. You'll pull. You can pull 30.
I could
because
pull
each
30.
Of them
well, it's 4 30 amp ESCs.
Oh, you have one for each.
It's a 4-in-1 ESC board, and each ESC section of the board is 30 amps.
Nice.
So, because
that potentially could pull 120 amps.
No, because each motor pulls individually. But from the battery, yes, you're right.
From the battery.
So yeah, there is the potential that I think that's how it works. I don't know. But
that
either way,
seems like a lot through
it's
one
a
board.
30.
Though.
It could just be 30 altogether then. But that drone, that quad, could easily pull. Like if I burst it really hard, I'll easily hit 30 amps. Because 30 amps is the continuous, and then you can peak burst it for like 40 or 45 for a few seconds.
So that's
that's easy to hit.
Now that's the worst part about testing how much you're pulling, though, is if you don't have the rating of the motor or the device that you have to do
burn something out.
Well, you have that, and you have to do a in line to test what the amperage is.
Yeah.
To get that adequate test. So,
thankfully,
like I said, though,
most flight controllers for quads, at least, they'll put that out on your OSD.
Yes, you can pull that information, which is nice for that.
But for like an airplane,
yeah, they don't have it.
No, you need special sensors, which you can get through FreeSky. But
so anyway, I've been impressed. Like I said, I'm not doing super. I'm gonna build a test jig, something that I can do that will pull, that I can set the amperage and pull that much.
Yeah.
But in order to do that, I'm gonna have to get a couple components and stuff and pull out my electronics background and build me something.
Yeah.
Because I have some motors. I have some high-end motors that will handle just about any amount of current.
Yeah. Speaking of electronics, did you watch that video I sent you?
I did not.
So
I watched some of it, but not all of it. It was pretty interesting.
Flight Test Tech channel just released a video a week ago from this recording, where they partnered with a company. I forget the name, but there's a software out there you can download for free for the free version. It's very light but very capable. And then JLCPCB or something
for building your own PCBs.
Building your own PCB boards.
Yeah.
Well, is board. But you can design and build your own PCB with 2 layers in the free version of the software. But if you buy, I think the minimum buy is 5 boards at $2 a board, and then shipping is $15.
So yeah, previous company that I worked for, I designed. We actually had a software that you would draw your traces out. You'd build your design.
Mm-hmm.
You'd put it in the computer, draw your traces,
Mm-hmm.
and then you could have it auto draw, and it would auto place, and it would build the lines. And you could
nice.
say 1 layer, 2 layer, 3 layer, whatever layer you wanted to build it at, and it would build. Now the version that we had, I think we could only do 2 or 3 layers with that one.
Yeah.
But it was pretty slick.
Yeah.
Because you just dump in the information, and we actually used it because we did a lot of at that company. We did a lot of reverse engineering. So we would trace out an existing board, and then we would build it.
Yeah.
And that was actually pretty fun. But yeah,
So,
that software that those trace builds that you can do with that. And that one looked pretty nice. A little bit of I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched a little bit.
I watched
a little bit
the
I
whole
did watch.
thing.
It's pretty slick. That one seemed pretty slick.
It's pretty straightforward. When I was working on my associate's degree, I took an electronical engineering class where you learned how to lay out a PCB. And it's pretty straightforward and simple. I did boards that had upwards of 5 layers. But for a simple 2-layer board, the program and how to get it set up so that you can have your board printed and shipped to you, super easy.
They actually
super
have
easy.
free online ones too that you can do it with.
Yeah.
And that will give you a print that you just print it.
Mm-hmm. And give that the GRBL or
you
whatever.
can build your own. Like I etched my
Oh,
own
there you
boards.
go.
I built a guitar amp, not a guitar amp, a guitar pedal,
Oh, okay.
and we etched our own boards.
Yeah.
We printed it. You print it on a specific type of paper.
Uh-huh.
It's a filament paper, and then you iron that onto the
Onto the copper
PCB.
sheet.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And then you use the etching with bubbles.
To get rid of all the copper you don't need, right?
Yep. And you make sure when you peel it off, right, that the tracers stay there. You can actually buy kits that are tape tracers that you can you can build your own, and you can lay it out on the board and everything. They're really, really kind of awesome. If you're into building your own stuff, like if you like, if you're into the DIY stuff and you want to build your own boards and stuff,
and you want to make your connections really clean,
it's
building a board would be a great way to go.
super fun, super slick. Building that guitar amp was one of the funnest things, and then I loaned it to somebody.
And it disappeared.
They never returned my calls, emails, or nothing. Anyway.
So I'll put a link in the description to the flight test video. Go check it out. I plan on potentially designing a board or 2 for use in bigger stuff, because it'd be a great way for running lights or bringing in multiple batteries into a system.
Yeah.
Or stuff or even running multiple servos off of one board if you needed to, or running extensions. There's
that's what they were building.
Yeah,
is they were building a servo extension.
Yeah, so the possibilities are endless with this kind of board.
The thing is the coolest thing about these like this software and stuff, like like when I went to school for electronics, which was 15 years ago, almost 12 years ago, 13 years ago.
Pick a number.
Well, that's when I finished. So.
Oh, okay.
15 to 12 years ago is when I was going to school for electronics. It was just in its infancy of these boards of auto-populating. And CAD was there, but like for auto-drawing and for using it to populate for the end user. Like, they've been around for a long time, but we're talking tens of thousands of dollars for the software. Yeah. But then they were coming down where they had some online stuff that was pretty inexpensive or very cheap, like you could do simple lines. Yeah. And now, like with this thing, it's super cool, super impressive. The free version is way more impressive, has way more components. Oh, yeah. Plus, you can probably find the component and the diagram for the component, and if not, easy. You could build it and then put it in its own dip and then put it on your board. So like these new softwares have only been improving because the manufacturer style ones are still tens of thousands of dollars, but what they're doing is insane. They're doing like 50 layer just
Just
insane stuff.
PC motherboard stuff.
Like building capacitors and stuff right into the board.
Yeah.
Not like having a chip or a capacitor, like using the capacitance of the
board itself
to
Holy
build
cow.
a capacitor in the board. It's super, super cool
Yeah.
what you can do with little tiny layers of silicon and copper.
So yeah,
super, super awesome.
links in the description.
check
Check
it
it out.
I
plan on
awesome.
using it at some point.
Yeah, if you really want to dive in, you can look for etching. It's a chemical.
That's a whole nother monster.
It really is, but it's like it's super, super fun. And if you're already doing hobby stuff, like maybe you'll find something that you really like that you're just like, I just want to build this because I want to. Can you buy it? Yeah, you can buy it. The chances are is if you need it, somebody's already built it and you can find it online and buy it.
Yep.
But
it's so much more fun to build it.
Sometimes it's just fun to build it.
Well, and
it's not just sometimes. Like I have electronics at my house that are running different automation stuff at my house.
Yeah.
And I built it.
Yeah. Instead of going and getting like all the Google Home or Amazon Alexa
I
home
built
automation stuff, he built his own.
I really did. Now, I have upgraded some of my stuff because my Raspberry Pi that was controlling everything blew up on me.
Yeah.
And so I upgraded, and I do have some home, like some
If
off
you ever
the shelf
move,
stuff.
you have to tear it all out. You know that, right?
Well,
you don't have to, but
I
you
have
need
to do
to.
something because
You need to retrograde a lot of it.
yeah. But I interfaced my existing hardware to run with my new fancy stuff, which was really fun to figure out. And anyway, like we digress a little bit, but like like where this is going is like the building of your electronics for your flights, for your flight stuff.
Yeah.
Is like it's in your hands. You can do it. And then to take it to like the 3D printer, then you can build cases for it. You can build replacement parts for stuff. So you can say that you built it with your hands.
Yeah.
That you built it. It's super, super slick what you can do. And with the new softwares that are out there for dirt cheap, it's cool. It's super, super cool. So if you wanted to say you built your plane from scratch, you could do that. Now, like your control, don't build your servos by those. Your ESCs, don't build those. You can build those, but the new, like for $12, this thing, like it will cost you $30 or $40 to build a $12 one.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a point where it just makes more sense to buy it from China.
But if you're splitting controls across the surface, or you want to add multiple batteries onto it, building a board that will combine that, super, super awesome.
Oh yeah.
That stuff is fun. But you can then trick out your flight stuff with all kinds of LEDs. You can make it do what you want it to do instead of having to obey what you buy off the shelf.
Yeah.
So you got some freedom there. That's some of the stuff that's with that. Plus you can have a light up plane that's just
awesome.
Super slick and sick.
Yeah.
So
all right, let's get back on track.
Well, that takes us back. That gets rid of our projects and our builds. So what's next? What do you
latest outings?
Yeah,
So I've only been playing with the SCX 24s with my boys as usual. But I saw a video there's a YouTube channel called I Do RC. And this guy's got axial rock crawlers.
I think he follows us on Twitter.
I honestly don't know. Maybe I don't look at Twitter very much. I
get all the follows all the time.
Yeah, it's true. But what he did is he put in this little driver figure, and he rigged up so that the steering wheel actually turns when he turns the steering. And in the head of the guy, he put the DJI HD FPV system.
I feel like I saw this video.
I watched one of his videos today. He has the coolest track in his backyard.
I feel like I may have watched, or there was one. It was a commercial on one to watch it. I feel like
so
it. So
I now have inspiration to I've got this island in my front yard that's a flower bed, and that has a water feature that's supposed to work, but it doesn't right now because I'm working on my yard.
It's COVID.
And it's just I have 3.
Why not blame it for everything?
Exactly.
Because it's been winter. What? No, not really.
But what I want to do is actually kind of lay out a course to follow, because he has, when you step out this guy's back door, he's got this nice grass pad and then these hedges, and it looks really nice and you can't see anything. But he turns on the camera view of his truck and drives straight towards the bushes, and all of a sudden you see this little tiny scale sign that says off-road only. There's a gap in this tiny little fence, and he just goes down this dirt track and goes behind all his hedges, and there's still like 20 feet of yard, and it's just covered in tracks and hills.
Oh my gosh,
And
that
he
is
takes
amazing.
you. Oh my word!
See, I would have done something like that if I got that.
Link in
other
the
house I was
description.
looking at.
But my word,
That
it
is
looked
cool.
like so much fun.
That is cool. That is cool. I haven't watched it, but I swear it's popped up on
It
a couple
probably
of my
has.
videos to watch.
So I do
So-
RC. Go check him out. He's only got a few videos up right now, but my word, they're cool.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
that's my latest outings.
And yeah, I don't have a latest outings.
Yeah. But other stuff I wanted to discuss. So when you're flying, this is kind of a beginner tip, I guess.
Okay.
So we'll jump over to that bit.
Well, that's about where we're at.
Yeah,
If
we've got time. So
wanna
you
go
always
there.
want to go through, you always want to go through a pre-flight check. Now, we've talked about the one that Flight Test recommends, which is CRAP, control surfaces. I don't remember the rest of them. Rips and tears, electronics, power. I don't know. So you want to check and make sure that your plane is actually flight worthy.
We have that crap on 1 or 2 if you want to go back to that episode.
Yeah. And there, Flight Test has a whole video on their pre-flight checklist.
Oh, you can go there too.
Yep, I'll put a link. There's a lot of links I need to remember. I need to write these down.
Well, you can write them down while you're editing.
I know. So
since you do that,
yes, I do.
which is why we're doing this
Excuse me.
way this time.
So you always want to go through a pre-flight checklist. Make sure that your plane is ready to fly. Make sure your radio is ready to fly. Make sure your flying field is ready to be flown at.
Yes.
Now, there's various, I looked and looked and looked to see if there's like an app for my phone that has it all for, you can build a pre-flight checklist and stuff. And I know I can go and do like an Excel spreadsheet and stuff, but that's boring. But I found that our transmitters have a pre-flight checklist built in.
Way. Seriously?
They do.
Where did
So
you get that?
this book?
Yes.
So this is the OpenTX user manual. You can get it for free online, but if you pay the price of printing, you can buy it from a Loft Hobbies. This one is specific to the X9D Plus, but you can buy one specific to the QX7. They're $15.
That's pretty awesome.
I would recommend it. But you can, so was looking for stuff, and I found on RC Groups that how to actually build your pre-flight checklist and load it onto your transmitter. Because I've played with it. When you're doing the model setup, there's a pre-flight checks section that you can turn on or off, and it'll tell you your switch positions, your throttle state, and all, tells you a whole bunch of stuff. But it doesn't really give you a list of check these things before you fly.
But you can do that.
Yes, you can do that. What you do is you create just an open notepad on your computer, just a basic text editor, and create a TXT file and have it, and it'll just display. You type in all the stuff that you want, like check your control surfaces, check your electrical connections, check your motor works, check that all your switches are doing what they need to do, and all that sort of stuff. And you just scroll through the list and kind of in your head go check, 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 as you go through all these things. So what you'll do is you'll save the file name as the model name that is in your transmitter, and then checklist or whatever, and save it to a specific spot. I think the models section folder on your SD card. And then when you have that pre-flight checks turned on, it will, and there's a display checklist button that you can turn on, and it will display the text model or the text file, and it'll just pull up on your screen. You can scroll through it and check through everything and then move on and go fly. So I'm in the process of creating a couple checklists.
That's pretty cool.
So
That's actually really, really cool because, our Free Sky stuff, the new devices that we have a lot of extra features in them.
Yeah.
And so, like, if it can do that, like, what else can we do with a lot of these others? You know, like because this thing is open source and open. It's not open source. It's open.
It is open source.
Is it open source?
Uh-huh.
You can like the possibilities are endless.
Well, and you can even write Lewis scripts and load them onto this radio. These radios.
Super
cool. The model wizard, when you create a new model and it walks you through that thing, that's a Lewis script.
See, my next thing, not my next thing, a thing I want to do in the future on there is I want to have it when it knows it's flying, I want to have a song being played.
Yeah, you can turn on background. You can create background music.
Yeah, but I want it to be like as soon as it knows that the plane is in the air and my new receivers can send that signal.
Yeah.
I want a song to automatically start playing.
Logical switch.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there
now
you go.
I looks like I'm gonna have to go buy me one of those.
Yeah, I would recommend it.
And then some light reading.
The only downside of the checklist on the transmitter is it pops up and displays, and you go through it. So if you have anything like check your switches, you can't back out of the checklist, check your switches, and then get back into the checklist sort of thing. At least not that I know of. I haven't fully played with it yet.
Do you know if it because it says you do it as a TXT, but does it accept like JSON or XML style? The blank stare tells me you have no idea what I just said.
I have an idea of what you just said, but no, it does not. Because even in here, what was it, page 28? Yeah, display. So display checklist. If a text file with the same name as the model is placed in the models folder on the SD card, the radio will recognize it as model notes. If this option is checked, the file will be displayed at startup. So as soon as you select that model, I think, or shortly thereafter at some point, it'll pop up the checklist.
I'm going to have to buy one of those and read through it because I bet you can, but it takes, like if you can build a Lewis script, then you could use that same type and build it in so you could get more functionality out of that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure. Now, don't quote me on that because I haven't done it. I'm just guessing from what we can already do with this thing.
There's a lot you can do with Lewis scripts.
Yeah. So, like,
There's a Lewis script built onto my transmitter that allows me to play Snake.
Why?
Why not?
I don't. Do you use the controls?
So if I get bored at the field, I can just play Snake on my transmitter.
Why would you get bored at the field? Oh, you crashed it and your buddies are still flying.
Yep.
So I need Snake on my controller.
Yeah. So tons of cool stuff that you can do with your our transmitters at least.
Yeah. The Free Sky transmitters are I'm
pretty slick.
Pretty impressed with them. Are they the best? I can't say. They're the only ones I've had. I know there's a
huge... no Jetty or Futaba or Gropner.
But I know there's a huge following because Spectrum is kind of the same level from what I understand. And there's a huge following.
Define level.
They
cost more, but the functionality's different.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. When I say level, I mean like, well,
there's a lot. Price point, no.
But and I know there's a huge following for them. In fact, I've seen on a couple forums where people get very heated between Spectrum and Free Sky, which I don't understand why. Like,
oh well, if you like you ask it, you open up to the internet the discussion of what transmitter do you use or what transmitter should I get. Colorful words will fly.
Yeah, and that's
people
what I've
get
seen.
Very heated.
What I say is, go with what you got. If you ain't got nothing, then just pick something up and go with it. Like really, in the end, it doesn't. I don't think it matters.
No,
honestly,
it really doesn't.
Like, just get out and fly. Pick something. If your buddy's got something, I've got a Free Sky because my buddy's got one.
I've got Free Sky and Spectrum.
You have
Spectrum
both.
Because I inherited it from my father-in-law. Free Sky because I wanted something more capable than my Spectrum.
And our other buddy has a Spectrum. I mean, has a
Free Sky.
Free Sky because of you.
No, he actually has it because of Mr. Steele.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
he just said, this is what I'm getting. I'm like, oh, I've been looking into it. They look so awesome. He's like, oh, good. Someone else likes it too. So I just like that for a quarter of the, like, Spectrum's newest transmitters are coming out, the NX series, and their NX8, which is an 8-channel transmitter where everything is very set in what it can do. Like, very little customization with any of their stuff. It's like $400 or $500. But for $300 or $250 or whatever it is I spent on my X90 Plus 2019 SE, the special edition, the upgraded stuff, I have all the switches that I can make them do whatever I want. You
have
all
2 more switches than I do, right?
Yeah, and buttons and sliders.
Yeah.
I have 10 times the capability. And honestly, in my honest opinion, from everything I've seen and experienced, better signal strength. Spectrum is notorious for their brownouts.
Oh, real? That's horrible.
Yeah. Like, I've witnessed brownouts. Like, you fly too close to a cell tower with Spectrum and you're hosed. I've flown relatively close to cell towers with my Free Sky. Not an issue so far.
Well, when we fly over at this park,
there's 2.
Yeah,
there's the one at the elementary school and one at the church.
Yeah, and they're not 200 yards away from each other. Maybe 300 yards away from each other.
Yeah, about 3. Yeah.
So yeah,
no issues, and it's really nice having the Spectrum analyzer so I can pull it up and see what kind of noise is in the area. So it really comes, and then like if you're like Rami RC out in Germany, he flies on Jetty, and their cheapest transmitter is $1,200.
Holy cow!
But that is like top of the line, top notch, amazing stuff.
Yeah, but what can you do with that? I mean, is it like open with like the Free Sky, or is it more permanent like the Spectrum?
It's between the two.
Okay,
it's very customizable like OpenTX, but it's very structured and clean like Spectrum.
So you get a little bit of both worlds there. Okay.
But he builds and flies.
He's probably
scale jetliners.
Yeah. So
his smallest plane is a scale jet that has got a 50 or 60-inch wingspan.
Okay.
Right now he recently did the Airbus A380.
Holy cow.
And it had
a big
3 or 4 meter wingspan.
That's a big plane.
It was huge, and he spends thousands of dollars on his planes. So he needs top of the line stuff.
What I was getting at.
Yes, sorry.
I mean, that's crazy, but
check out Rami RC on YouTube. He's amazing.
Get into the hobby. If that's inherited, use what you inherit.
Exactly.
If you're just on a budget, start with the budget list.
There's tons of great budget radios. Like any radio that runs OpenTX is a great budget radio.
Yeah, and so like the options are amazing out there, and like the whole thing that is go with what either your buddies tell you or go with what you know. And as you progress in this, like 5 years down the road, will I buy a different receiver?
Transmitter?
Well, I'll buy different receivers, definitely, but will I buy a different transmitter?
Absolutely.
Probably. Maybe not 5 years. Maybe 5 years. I don't know. Depends on how.
Free Sky just released their newest one.
Yeah, I don't need another one.
The Tandem X20. My word, that thing is gorgeous. The basic version is only $270, and oh my goodness, it's amazing.
In the end, like we've kind of we talk about this. It feels like every third episode or so.
But it's important to know.
It's like find something, and use it.
Yep.
Even if that's like your first plane is a ARF. No.
Ready to fly?
Ready to fly.
Yeah.
Like
which comes with a transmitter.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah, you have.
That's awesome.
You can't use that transmitter with anything else, most likely. But who cares? Because you're out flying.
Yeah.
You're out experiencing this hobby that actually, like, I miss flying my elf.
Yeah. That's why I'm looking forward to my Gentlelady
Wing
done.
That elf was so, and I could just walk out there and just flick it, throw it, fly for a little bit. Like, it was just awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Radeon, I'm a little sad about the Radion. I love flying the Radion, but I got to go out there.
Takes
get
more
my
effort.
screw out there and plug everything in, get it all running,
Yeah.
make sure nothing's bent or doing stupid things, and then I can fly. You know, I can fly all day long with that thing, which I don't fly all day long, but I fly for several,
Yeah.
you know, an hour or so, just where I'm in the air for close to that time.
Yeah, just the nature of that plane, it takes more effort to get out.
Yes. And so it's like I do enjoy flying it, but because of that, that's why I can't wait for this tiny trainer, because it's basically going to be a little bit more complicated than the Elf, but
Nowhere near
what I have to do for my
Radion.
The Radion.
Yeah.
Because the tiny trainer will fit in my car with the wings on.
Yep. And the wings are held on by 2 rubber bands.
Just barely, though. I haven't
It's
really.
only a 36-inch wingspan.
You've seen my car.
My word.
It will fit.
Is my car bigger than yours?
Just barely.
Holy crap. It feels like your car's bigger.
No.
Weird. Okay.
No.
Whatever. The key is get out and fly.
Yes.
That is the main goal.
What I'm trying.
Whatever it takes.
Yes.
Whatever you end up using. Awesome.
Yeah, and that was I miss getting out and flying. And we had some crappy weather for a while, so it was still like it's like, I want to go fly.
It's standard Utah spring right now. It's cold. It's freezing cold one week and cooking hot the next.
Yeah,
it's Utah.
I'm hoping tomorrow will be nice. If the field is, I will be going to one of the fields.
Nice. I will be not.
At some point tomorrow. I don't know. Yes, because tomorrow's Saturday for us, which will be just a couple days ago for you guys. I want to take out the slow stick.
Sweet.
I'm terrified if I put that 5,000 one in there, because, I mean, the ESC is not going to pull everything, but I'll probably be, I would be able to fly that thing all day long.
Yeah.
But it's going to be pretty heavy, so I don't know. I want to get out and fly, but I'm terrified to fly that one without having you there, honestly.
Okay.
I want to take it out and I want to go fly, but I'm a little nervous doing it by myself the first time.
That's fair.
I want somebody there that I can run into.
He needs target practice.
Hey, I don't know. I think my aim is pretty good.
Only when I'm out there.
Yeah, only when you're
Otherwise,
out
it's terrible. All right. I think
did we kill this?
Rambled their
Did we
ears
kill
off.
this?
Yeah, we're at an hour of rambling. So, any final thoughts any final thoughts to add on to our previous final thoughts?
No, not really. When you're working on a new project, just, be patient with it and keep working. You'll get through it. Just, like I said, just be patient.
If you want to see the build, follow along with my build of the Gentlelady, follow us on Instagram. I post pictures there.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to see all the details, you can I'll post links to them, but I've got build logs for it on RC groups as well as the new Willy Nillies forum, willynillies.info.
Nice.
So you can follow the build logs there.
That'll be either
links in the descriptions, absolutely,
there or over there or up wherever they're at in whatever you're consuming this.
They'll be down below. They'll be in the description. So yeah, I've got detailed build logs there where I load a bunch of pictures, try and type up as much of the details as I can, make it nice and clear. Because again, I got this as a beta kit. They still don't have instructions for building the fuselage out, so I put as much detail as I can into it.
That's pretty awesome.
So there you go.
All right, I think that ends us up today.
Yep.
I mean, are we?
No, I think that's it. So with that, when flying inverted, up is down and down is expensive. RPM is how hard you hit the ground, and torque is how far you have to dig to get yourself out.
Yes.
See you guys.